Round 1 first board, I picked up a free count for triple free with no spots in second chair white on red. It was the opponent's hand, so partner and I were silent. North opened a spade. South bid a forcing no trump. North bid 2 clubs. South invited to no and North raised to free. So we were defending free no trump with partner on lead. Partner led the fourth of diamonds. This was fourth best, so this mark declared with 3 or 4 diamonds. The dummy put down a 17 count with 5-4 in the blacks. He played the jack from dummy, and I couldn't beat this, and it's standard in this situation to show count, and we play upside down count and attitude, so I played the 8 to show an odd number. And declare overtook with the queen. Now this was a little revealing. If declare had 3 diamonds, then it means it marked him with queen 10 third, because with queen third he would not have been able to afford to overtake. And of course he can still have ace queen third, and in either case this mark declare with 2 diamond stoppers. Declare next led the 9 of spades. Partner covered the 10. Declare paid the queen, and it was standard here for me to duck for several reasons. One is if declare wanted to repeat the spade finesse, I force him to lead something back to his hand to repeat the finesse, so it forces him to burn an entry, and also that also in that process that also reveals a little more about the hidden hand to me. And a couple other reasons that are specific to this hand. When I'm in with the king of spades, I would have to leave something back, and it's a good idea to postpone that decision and try to find out as much about the hand as possible before I have to make that decision. And finally, on this auction, it's possible for declare to have a stiff spade, in which case partner would have 10-8 third, and ducking the spade is a good way to protect partner's holding and make it a little harder for declare to get spades. In any case, at the table, declare next step was to lead the club. I play low and declare won with the king and repeated the spade hook, partner following, and on the jack I won the king. And now it was time to take stock. Now what do I know about the hand? Dummy had a 17 count, I have 3, so that left 20 points between the hidden hands that were in declare's and partner's hand. Now we know that partner had nothing in spades, and the most he had in diamonds was the ace, so this still left room in partner's hand for a couple cards. Now of course he could have the queen of clubs, which would be kind of useless to a defense, but if he didn't have the queen of clubs, there would be a good chance that he had 2 hard cards, maybe either ace queen or king queen, so both of that would be within his range. And another important thing to note is that if you look at dummy, even though it's still early in the hand and we've only played 4 tricks, declare is already well on its way to setting up dummy. We know that the spades are already good, and we know that clubs are friendly to declare. Declare could still have king queen, and if he didn't have king queen, if partner has the queen, then we know that if declare needed the club finesse, it would be on side, and if he needed clubs free, we know that clubs were free. So dummy is close to good at this point. 9 of his cards were accounted for. And furthermore, we know that from trick 1, declare has a 3rd round of diamond winner coming. And that would be a way for him to pitch his heart. And so given all that, pretty much there's no chance that we will have the tempo to set up diamonds and run it. And on the contrary, it's actually hearts that we need to attack to make sure we can get all our tricks there. In particular, we can do a quick check. The two likely heart holding partner has, if partner has ace queen of hearts, I would have to lead a heart to be able to get 2 heart tricks there. And if partner has king queen of hearts, similarly I would have to lead a heart so that we can set up our heart trick before our ace of diamonds is still this large. So it's pretty clear to be attacking hearts here and not diamonds. And that's what I did at the table. I led the 6 of hearts, which is attitude, and declare play low. Partner won the queen, and I can show you the full hand at this point. And partner had one of the 2 heart holdings that I was describing. So pushing a heart through was the right defense, and that was the only way for us to get 4 tricks in free no trump. Unfortunately, it turned out on this hand, partner actually missed a space spot, so he didn't realize the spades were good in dummy. And what actually happened was he continued diamond and played another diamond, and our heart trick actually went away. Now this was a mistake, but mistakes will happen, and it's important. It's a lesson in itself uh, to move on and not dwell on the mistakes. So the end result of this is declare quick claim at this point, and he got his 10 tricks and he was plus 630. And we can see on this recap here, minus 630 was worth 31% of the match points. And we can look at the board recap to see how the rest of the field did. Not surprisingly, free no was a very common result. I think all but 3 pairs were in free no trump. And what was surprising to me was actually most of the field conceded minus 630. So everybody somehow misdefended one way or the other. And there were only 4 pairs who defended free no trump and were able to hold free no to fewer than 10 tricks. Now we can kind of speculate what happened, although we won't really know. It's possible. It just happened that on this layout, when declare overtook the diamond, it made it obvious to me. That was very revealing information for me to work out what to do on the defense. It's possible that other tables might have played diamonds differently. He could have fly the king from dummy, or even just let the jack of diamonds hold, and both of these would have kept the diamond a little bit of a mystery to be a little bit of a mystery to me. And the other possible misdefense is so certainly it's possible that other tables might have missed a space spot just like we did at our table. And a third possible misdefense is my hand might not have ducked the king of spades. My hand might have been trigger happy and think that diamonds might be running, especially if declare played the king of diamonds from dummy. So he might have been very happy to win the first spade, in which case the position is much less clear, and it might have been he might have just wanted to play a diamond to try to cash diamonds there. In any case, we don't really know, but we can. What is clear is that if you can, this is the kind of bread and butter hand. First of all, you don't need to beat free no to get a good result, obviously, and a lot of match point is at stake here. And if you can consistently hold free no to take all your tricks in free no trump here, you would have a huge edge on the field. And you can see that holding free no to 9 tricks is worth 43% of the match points over just letting free no make 4. So that's the first hand of the round. Let's proceed to the second hand. Second hand, I picked up a freakish hand, a 6-5 in first chair red on white, with so lots of shape, pretty good space suit, but not a lot of high cards. Now, if I were not red on white, this would be a pretty standard opening. In fact, at some vulnerability, I might even preempt free spades. But the fact that it's red on white is the only reason this gave me pause. And at that vulnerability, actually, in second chair, I might have considered passing. But first chair, with this hand, I take the principle that there are 2 opponents to preempt and 1 partner, so I was comfortable opening 2 spades. And I would expect most of the field to do the same. So I opened 2 spades, south passed, and partner bumped to 4. And this gave North a high-level bidding decision, and she decided to bid 5 hearts. And at this point, I know that preempting was good for us because we were not doubled, and it forced North into a high-level bidding decision. I passed this passed along to partner who saw the bid and then doubled, so we defended 5 hearts double. In 5 hearts double, I was on lead. I led the queen of spades, declared this, partner discouraged, and declare 1 with the king. Should next led the ace of hearts, and here I began an echo in trump to try to tell partner that my outside card was in diamonds and not clubs. Declare continue with a heart to dummy, and the 10 of hearts won. And declare next let the deuce of diamonds, partner through the ace, and I played declare played the 10, I played the 8 to show count, to show an odd number, and partner next let a spade, on which declare pitch a club, and dummy's ace 1. Now at this point the hand is over for me. It's not quite over for partner yet, but I'll just show you the full hand. Declare next let a club from dummy, and partner actually had a guess at this point. He knew based on my carding that declare is either it's going to be 6-4-2-1 with either 4 diamonds or 4 clubs, and it was important for partner to work out to guess which one. If partner had if declare had this shape as we show here, then it was important for him to duck and not fly the ace. But it's also the other layout, declare would be down to stiff queen of clubs, and it would be important for partner to fly the ace. And partner actually did work this out. He covered, so declare played the queen and cashed the king of diamonds, and when the queen of diamonds didn't drop, the hand was pretty much over. So we ended up taking the ace of diamonds and 2 club tricks for down 1 and plus 100. So I think for this hand, most of the play was relatively routine. Partner had one defense decision to make, but mostly this was a bidding hand. Most of the interesting decisions were in the bidding. So I already talked about my first seat decision, which is not all that interesting. It's just you either do it or you don't, and it's kind of a style question. Partner's bump to 4 space is relatively normal. So the 2 interesting decisions is what North should do over 4 spades, and what partner should do over 5 hearts, whether he should double. And without going too much into details, I think I pretty much agree with both decisions. Certainly North's decision over 4 spades is probably the toughest decision, and it would have been reasonable to double with a 17 count, but certainly there's no assurance that 4 spades is going down, looking at the stiff king of spades, which very well could be worth nothing. And the other thing is, with 6 good hearts, if their side has a big heart fit, she pretty much would have to bid it herself in order to find that fit. So left to the same decision, I would probably have done the same. And obviously on this specific hand, doubling 4 spade would have worked out much better. In fact, 4 spades would go down 2 on a heart lead, and at worst it would be down 1 on a minor suit lead. And finally, looking at partner's hand, the decision to double 5 hearts it seems relatively clear. I could certainly have had a better hand for my preempt. And looking at 2 aces and some spots in clubs, it just looks like you've already forced the opponents to guess at a high level, and there's a good chance that they're wrong, and it looks reasonable to double that to exact a maximum penalty. And we can see here 5 hearts double plus 100 was a pretty good board. This gave us almost 80% of the match points. And looking at the recap for the board, there's a couple observations here. So first, it actually looked like roughly looking at the results, I think roughly half the field probably preempted with my hand, which would have led to either 5 hearts double or undouble, or 4 spades double or undouble. So those are the most likely result if I had preempted. And it looked like maybe roughly half the field or a little more than half the field preempted. And for those who didn't preempt, they would probably have be defending some low-level number of hearts, either 4 hearts or even 3 hearts in some cases. And obviously on this hand, it would have worked out better to preempt with my hand. And the other observation is that, well, how much is double worth with partner's hand? And we can see that it's actually worth quite a lot. So it was definitely worthwhile to double when it was right. 5 hearts undoubled plus 50 would have been worth just slightly above average, while 5 hearts double down 1 plus 100 was worth almost 80%. So the double was worth almost a quarter of a board. So that was pretty worthwhile. So that's the end of round one. And you can see in the recap here, we had a below average board and an above average board, which averaged out to basically 55%. And I've also included here the cumulative total for our whole session. And so you can see how we're doing after each round. And overall, after one round, we are 55%.